not even mean, Bowers Game Corner.
Hey there, YouTube. I'm back again today for another How to Play video, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Trivia Crack, the board game from Mattel Games. This is for 2 to 4 players or teams, ages 12 plus, take about 30 minutes to play. And the first thing you're going to want to do is, if you're playing in teams, break up into about as even teams as you can, and then each team or player is going to get these 3 things right here. You're going to get a dry erase marker and board, which will have your color on the back. You're also going to get this wager card right here and this little question mark, which will tell you how to use a little bit later. You're also going to make sure that everyone can reach the spinner. You're going to place the board in the center with all your little starting pieces on the start spot. Your goal is to get to right here. And then you're going to separate the trivia cards into 2 separate piles. You'll have horizontal cards, which are the hard cards, and then you'll have the vertical cards, which are the easy cards. The easy ones will have A, B, C, D answers, whereas the horizontal ones will have no multiple choice. You're also going to want to shuffle up the power-up cards, make sure everyone can reach them, and you are ready to start the game. Randomly choose who's going to go first, and then I will walk you through exactly what you're going to do every single turn, and you'll go clockwise around wherever you're playing. So let's pretend that blue is the first player. First thing you're always going to do is you are going to spin this spinner right here, and then you're going to read off the question based on which color you got. So whoever on the blue team spun the spinner is now going to read this question aloud, making sure to cover the back of it so that no one can see the correct answer, because the correct answer will be on the back. So where is Lucas Oil Stadium located? After they've read the question out loud, if they have a power-up card, they can use that power-up card right now. So let's go over real quickly what the 4 different power-up cards are. First is Double Chance, spin again for a new category. So if you didn't like sports, they could spin again. Also, if they happen to get sports again, well then Tough Cookie. Also Skip, which means draw a new question from the same category. Bomb, which means move players in the leading space back 1 space. And then Magic Answer, which immediately lets the player move ahead 1 space. So every round, if you're the spinner, you're going to have the option to play one of those cards. But after you've read the question, everyone is now going to write down their answer on their dry erase board. And remember, keep it secret, keep it safe. Now you're going to move to your wager board. Every single team is going to make a wager, and this involves you putting a question mark onto either none, some, or all. So if you put it onto none, this means that you think everyone is going to get the question incorrect. If that does happen, then your team gets to draw a power-up card. If you put your wager in the middle into some, and at least one team, but not all the teams get it correct, then you get to move forward 1 additional space. Last, if you wager it on all on the right, you get to advance 2 spaces if everyone in fact does get the answer correct. Now, when you're figuring out how you're going to wager and answer your question, make sure if you're playing as a team, everybody's talking and discussing the correct answer, but do it on the down low. So now with all of our answers and wagers placed, we're going to reveal them all, and we are going to see how the movement works. So now the player who read the question originally is going to flip over the question, look down here at the bottom, and see what the correct answer was. So we can see down here for orange, the correct answer was A, Indianapolis. Now, whichever teams got that correct immediately are going to get to move forward 1 space. Once you've taken care of that, we now look at the wagers. So green thought that no one was going to get it correct, and they were wrong, which means they don't get to draw an additional power-up card. Red thought that some would get it right, and in fact, 1 person did get it correct, but not everyone, which means they get to move forward 1 space. And blue thought everyone would get it correct, which means they don't get to move forward any additional spaces. Last but not least, players who are not in the lead get to draw 1 power-up card. So right now, green would get to draw a power-up card. If you already have a power-up card, then you have to decide whether or not you want to discard your card before you can draw a new one, but you can only have 1 at a time. If you ever try and draw a power-up card and there are none, shuffle up the discards and keep on trucking. If someone has reached the final spot, then they automatically win the game, and when you get to the final spot, you have to get to it by answering a question correctly. You cannot use a power-up or a wager in order to get to the final game-winning spot. However, if no one reached that spot, then you place the trivia question on the bottom, you pass the spinner to the next team on the left, and you rinse, wash, and repeat. Now, the only major rule that I have to talk about last is what if there's a tie? What if 2 people get to the final spot on the same turn? If that happened, then those players are going to take part in a tie-breaking lightning round, where you will draw a new trivia card and read each question out loud, giving the tied players 10 seconds to write down an answer. The player with the most correct answer wins. And all the spectators are encouraged to count down from 10 to 0. If there happens to be a tie, then do it again. But that was Trivia Crack, the board game. If this helped you out, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That helps me out a lot. Also, consider subscribing if you learn loving new games, as I teach new games all the time. But go have some fun, and thanks for your time, YouTube. This video is brought to you by all of my amazing Patreon supporters, and I would love it if you would join their ranks and have your name immortalized in the end of many of my videos for the end of time. But consider for only $1 a month, and as always, thanks for stopping by.